everyone, and welcome to Afro Global's second Standing in the Gap episode. Those who've watched the previous one on February 12th know about me already, but I'll reintroduce myself a little bit for the new viewers. My name is Alexis Newton, and I will be the moderator today. I'm a fourth-year math major at Bennett College in Greensboro, North Carolina. Our speaker today, Sherri Sanders, is a Villager Award 2014 recipient, so she's no stranger to Afro Global. I know her through my mom. She did my mom's hair and is a longtime friend, and she oftentimes did mine. I've woken up many mornings with a tight scalp. I'll say that. She does design work for clothes, and I've only caught a glimpse of it, but I remember seeing her tools and fabric out on the kitchen table, and a picture of her prom dress she made once. So one thing the viewers don't know about me is that I have a dream of creating a clothing line for those with disabilities and birth defects that create physical differences on the body. So this is a new territory for me, but as somebody who wants to get into this profession, I'm grateful and eager to hear about our speaker story today and how she became a creative. I'm excited as you are to see Miss Sherri's work because I've only caught a glimpse, like I said, and I have been told that it is amazing. So without any further ado, Miss Sherri, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Fine. Excited to discuss my clothing that I've done in the past.
Right. So, what made you interested in this career?
Back when I was about 8 years old, my mom, she went out and purchased a sewing machine with blue chip stamps. I don't know if any of you youngsters know about blue chip stamps, but back in the day, anytime you went to any type of grocery store or any type of store, they would hand out these little stamps with a little booklet, and you would lick the stamps and put them in the book, and you would fill your books up. And you were able to buy items with those books. So she had saved her books, and she went out and bought this sewing machine. And I remember when she went and bought this fabric, and I thought that was the most beautiful fabric I've ever seen. And I watched her turn that fabric into this beautiful dress, like a halter dress back then. It was in the 70s. So, and that's what made me have an interest of sewing, and by watching her. And she eventually got rid of put the sewing machine on the back burner. And when I got about 12 years old, I took sewing in junior high, which is now called middle school. And I was able to pull that machine out and get started.
Okay. That's really cool. So from then, how long have you been designing clothes?
Well, I was sewing since about 12, and I actually got into designing kind of later on in life, probably I would say about the 2000s, when 2000 came. So about 20 years now, I've been into designing and trying to perfect certain techniques.
Okay. So as for right now, especially during the pandemic, I imagine that the process will be a little different. So are you designing right now, or is it a bit more challenging? Like, do you do it virtually?
Okay, what it is that when I started designing, as you can see on the screen, this was a prom dress. The green one was one of my first ones that I designed. The girl came and she wanted this dress a certain way, and that's when I went in and she said, I want my dress to shine. I want crystals everywhere. So I told her, I said, okay, we can do crystals. And I didn't really know how to do crystals at the time when I was doing the cut and the fit on the dress, because as you would be happy to know, is most of the people that I designed for are special sizes. She was very petite. She couldn't find a dress because she was so small, and she needed something that would fit her. And all the dresses were either too big or too long, and it was just it was just a mess. So I designed this dress using crystals. At that time, my technique was just glue everywhere, wait to dry, overlap crystals. It was very time consuming, but the end product was amazing, as you can see on the green thread.
It is.
And then, and as you would, I want you to know that if you look at the bottom of the dress, the bottom, the bottom comes off. That whole bottom part comes off, and it turns into a little cocktail dress.
Ooh.
Yes, it just comes right off the bottom of the dress because she needed something that would be for prom and then something that she could wear after prom. And, but I want you to know that dress was very heavy. Those crystals are very, very heavy. So, and then with the burgundy dress, she was a little chubby, but she was also petite. And she wanted her dress to fit a certain way to kind of insinuate her body in certain parts, which is the way. And as you can see, with me pinning after her fitting, I had to kind of pull the waist up a little bit when you see the dress with the pins in it. And then on the end result, that's what she ended up with. She wanted her, kind of her boobs to show and a little waist. And by bringing the waist in, it gave her a slender figure, by the cut. So that's when I started with cutting in on the dresses in order to stimulate the body. It was always my intention to insinuate the body. And during this pandemic, it's kind of hard to sew for other people because there's no proms going on, there's no evening anything going on, because that was kind of my specialty, sewing gowns. That's what I did. So it's been a little kind of short, as far as things to do, but I found that I too wanted to incorporate my clothing line for plus size, and that's what I'm starting to do, study and to get the measurements so that I can also continue on with the plus line line.
Right. Very cool. I see the designs are so different between those two prom dresses. So where do you find inspiration for your pieces?
Okay, on the next slide, this is some more of the cutting and how I went in. I started going in and looking online at different gowns and how they were made and how they could take a plain gown and just, like if you see on the blue one, how it was so plain, and then go in and put the lace on it and then do the sequence on the top, and you see the end result of this dress, of that plain blue dress starting out, and how it kind of like vamped it up with just lace and sequence, how it could just vamp up the fabric. Same with the pink dress. The back, it had a real nice back. She wanted her back to show. But sometimes when you're dealing with dresses that are deep, it's kind of hard to get the sleeves to sit up on the shoulders. So what I did was I put the shirring behind it and kind of accentuated it with beading and stones around the edge, and then just kind of like, just to give it a little oomph to a dress that's really plain, but it actually brought the dress out. And then on this slide, this is what really kind of inspired me. A friend of mine who's a fashion, she's not a designer, but she's kind of a designer, but she's actually more of a stylist right now. She was working with a girl and they needed someone to create these outfits for a makeup show. And she came to me and she said, I need something for the makeup show. It's Black Swan. So I kind of collaborated with them and we came up with the White Swan, Black Swan look. And this was kind of how I got it started with blinging out the top and making the tutus and, the different variety of tutus. The black one is a flat tutu, whereas the white one is a poof tutu. And then even the difference in the bustier, the black, I did the sequence on the black, whereas the white, I left it kind of pure and just did a few stones and some lace on it. And that's kind of what got me going, is when I did that. And then on this next slide is where they asked me to do the same makeup artist wanted me to create something for the following year makeup show. And her theme was gift and gold. And that's when I kind of evolved and I did a sequence and stone panty with a sequence and stone bra and kind of had it like an Egyptian style. And it really turned a lot of heads that year on that.
Those are very pretty. I gotta say that blue couple dress was pretty ahead of its time. When did you make it?
The blue one?
Yes.
The blue dress, I made that dress in 2015.
Okay.
Yes, 2015 was when I made that one.
Mm-hmm. Because I've seen that design like recently, the cut-off sleeves attached to the like the main like cropped in this case shirt.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But what you do is you take when you're looking at designs, you get your inspiration and from other designs. So usually the client will tell you, oh, can you do this? Oh, can you do this? Oh, can you do it like this? Usually when they come in, they have something in mind on what they usually would like to have. And that's where I decided to go back to school because I needed to learn how to sketch. I didn't know how to sketch. Everything was going by memory. Everything was going by, memory of what they tell me what they want. And then they would come back. But if I found out that if I sketched it, then they would know what the end product would look like. You get me? So I went back to school, learned how to sketch. And from there, it kind of evolved from there. I knew that anytime someone came to me, I could just sketch it out for them. And they would see what their dress could look like on paper before they saw me actually make it. And usually once I finished an outfit, I can go back in and they could tell me, oh, can you do this? And because they find out that it looks good on paper, but it might not look good on them. So you would have to go in, and it takes a lot of patience to get into this type of craft. A lot of patience, a lot of looking up ideas, and especially if you're going to do your own line, you want to make sure that you do a clothing line that's going to be something that somebody would want, and there's a lot of competition out there. So, yeah.
You have to have patience, and that leads me to my next question. Mm-hmm. How long does it take you to complete a piece, depending on what it is?
A basic piece without any stones or anything on it. If I'm just going to use fabric of their choice, it would probably take about a month to do that. But when you get into stoning and adding stones to a simple piece, then that's when, oh my goodness, you start, that's when it's time consuming. Because on the next video, you see this dress? This dress has over 10,000 crystals on it. And aside from, and it's a basic dress. You can see the cut is very basic. It doesn't take anything to make the dress, but the actual stoning to make the dress come alive is what people are looking for. They want this dress. She wanted this dress to shine. She said, everywhere I go, I want this dress to shine. I took this picture at her fitting when she came in, and I fitted her to the dress. And she sparkled. And as you can see, the dress sparkles everywhere. But it took me like 3 months to do this dress because, and it was the only dress that I was working on because I had to put all those crystals on.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I did a wedding dress, and the wedding dress took about 6 months. So it's because the wedding dress that I did, it didn't have crystals on it, but it was the way that she wanted the dress made. She wanted the dress to fit a certain way. She wanted the dress to have a low back. She wanted the dress to have a poop skirt. So it took about 6 months to get that dress together and to get the fit right. And one of the things when you're talking about fit, you have to remember a lot of people for prom, for weddings, for anything that's special to them, they want to lose weight. So they come in, they get measured, and then you find out, oh, they didn't lost 10 pounds, they didn't lost 20 pounds. And then there you go, adjusting the dress, which is a hassle, but it happens. So those are some of the other things that you have to be patient with and you have to deal with when you're designing.
Yeah. There's that patience.
Yes.
Um. So along the way, have you ever had any mentors or help?
Yes, I had a cousin. I remember when my cousin, she sewed. And I mean, she made beautiful suits and stuff. She was from the South, but then she moved out here. And she could sew like you wouldn't believe. She's passed on now, but right before she passed on, I asked her, I said, can you please show me how to bead? I need to know how to bead. And she said, oh, it's so simple. So she showed me how to bead. And she said, but it's a lot of time, but it's very, very simple. So I actually learned how to bead from her. And just watching her and her creations and her design sense, she was a mentor to me. I also had another woman who has passed on, which is a friend of mine's mom. I remember when we moved to Carson, California, I was about 12. And she was the one who kind of helped me with setting up this machine that my mother had and showing me like the different things that I could make. And she just made regular streetwear clothes from patterns. She showed me how to use a pattern. She showed me how to cut the pattern. It was a lot of things that she showed me that I have to give my props to her on, on me starting.
Mm. Rest in peace to both of them.
Yes.
Um. So besides design school, I imagine that the best resource for those wanting to get into design is online, especially right now, and those around them. Just by going off your your help that you got. Did you ever have any moments of discouragement?
Anytime you're creating an outfit, there's always a moment of discouragement. There's a moment that you're like, oh, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. It's too much. And it could be stressful at times, especially depending on the client. Some clients are like over the top. But a lot of my techniques I've learned through YouTube. Thank God for YouTube right now. Because I learned how to use YouTube, and anytime I get stuck in a particular area, I can always look it up on YouTube, like type it in and kind of see what they're doing and how they did it in order to come back and complete my task. So it is very discouraging sometimes when you get kind of hung up. Um, you you could go to school for design school. I know a lot of people that went to school for design and they're not even designers. They can't do it. They found out that it's more to it. I think it's something that you're born with. I think it's something that's embedded in you, something that you get a sense of that, oh, you know what? And because when I design, I'm at peace. When I'm sewing in my sewing room, I'm at peace. That's like was my escape. Aside from working, this is I always call this my hobby because it gives me a sense of peace when I step into my sewing room.
Yeah, definitely. To add on to the discouragement, have you ever had any negative criticism about your work, and how did you deal with it if you did?
Usually when you're starting out on a project, um, sometimes the client will come in and they'll kind of look down and they don't want this and they don't think that it's going to turn out the way they want. So it's kind of discouraging and very, very stressful because sometimes you say, well, wow, am I doing this right? I mean, is this what she wants? And what if she doesn't like it? And I, even on this dress right here, the person who I made this dress for, her mom was just so, she was on me like every day, like, and it makes you like, oh, I'm never sorry for anyone again. I'm never, it sometimes people can take you there. And again, that's where your patient comes in. You're discouraged, about your craft. And you just kind of want to say, and just keep it to yourself. You want to keep your craft to yourself and what you do to yourself. But then, once it starts getting to the product, and then it gives you a feeling that I just can't even explain. Once the product is finished, you're like, oh my God, look at this. And then you sit back and say, wow, I did that,
Yeah.
And then all the discouraging words, they just go away. You don't even remember some of the stuff that they said because it goes away once the product gets finished.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you or would you change any project you've made in the past?
Would I change any other projects? Pretty much, I've been satisfied on all my projects. If I could go back and redo that green dress again, because now I know how to work with crystals, I would do it a whole lot differently. Also, on this particular dress here, I would go back and it would be a few things I would change. It wouldn't be on the crystals, it would be on the making of the dress. The making of the dress. Because once the dress is made, there's no way of changing the way the fabric's been cut or anything. So I would change some cuts on this dress. I would change some fittings on the green dress, plus the way the crystals were installed on the green dress.
And the way they were installed, you would change the glue?
On the green dress, the glitter, yes, because the green dress was so heavy, and on her little body, it was just so heavy. Because I put so many crystals on it, because I was listening to the client on, oh, we wanted to shine, we wanted to sparkle. But like I said, on the green dress, that was my first time ever working with crystals. So it was like, man, not crystals in general, but to that extent, to make it like shine and sparkle the way they wanted it to. So I was listening to them and I was piling these crystals on the dress, and the dress was so heavy, and then I had to put elastic bands in there to keep the dress up. It was a lot, but now that I know more about corsets and know more about installing the crystals and stuff, I would do that dress totally differently the way I made it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say your favorite creation is so far?
I think on this next slide, these are some of my favorites. I just recently did the Halloween cheer outfit, which is this one. which was it was a lot of work doing the strips and stuff, getting the colors right because this outfit was copied from a from a cheerleading outfit that was presented in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so she just had to be one, but it turned out really, really good after it was over with. But my favorite would probably be the burgundy one. The beading on that one. That dress fit her perfectly. The beading was a lot of work. What it was like beaded trim, and I cut them into little pieces, and I hand sewed all of them together to make this beaded bag. So that would probably be my favorite one right here. Um, if you want to know the worst, it would probably be that was a struggle. It would be this one. Even though it looked simple, it was not simple because this was for a plus size person. This was a plus size dress, and she had heavy boobs. So, but she wanted it sheer at the top. So, cutting out all these little lace pieces and overlaying them over the sheer fabric, it took a long, long time so that her boobs could be covered and she could wear a bra without them knowing she was wearing a bra. It was a lot of work. So, it was like one of the worst ones and most difficult ones was doing this.
Yeah, I think um, a big emphasis
Mm-hmm.
like clothing is just that people's bodies are so different, and I think they need to all have clothes that make them feel good.
Exactly, exactly. That's why I'm a plus size person myself, and I'm not built like the average person. So I think that's why I wanted to go more into if I went into doing custom designs, I wanted it to do for people that were like me,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, it must feel really nice to see your work on somebody else and knowing that they'll have that probably forever.
Exactly. I always say just because you look different doesn't mean that you're not beautiful.
Hmm. Right. Um. So, what are your plans for the future with your design?
Mm. Right now, I'm planning, I would like to launch a plus size bathing suit and cover up line. Um, I've been working on that because when you go into creating a line, you have to make sure that your fit is going to be right. I want to do an online website, and I know that if the fit is not right, then that's what's going to keep people from coming to you. But if you have a really good fit, I was always told that if you have a good fit, it doesn't matter what the person look like, they're going to look good in that clothes, in those clothes, as long as that fit is perfect. Uh, I wanted to make sure that when I launch this line, that I do a line that's appropriate for plus size, and also that it will fit them appropriately. And I've even noticed on some small, like bathing suit lines for smaller individuals, that you have plus size people that have really nice shapes and bodies. It's just that they're bigger, but they won't sell that particular suit.
Hmm.
So I wanted to go in and I wanted to make sure that plus size people have a choice in order to fit their body, and I want to make sure that the fit is going to be right. So that's where I'm into now is I'm doing sample designs and having plus size people try them on and checking out the fit before I actually launch. So it's been something. I think COVID, by being at home, COVID has kind of made me put a pep in my step on doing this. So I've already created a couple of pieces that I'm gonna have people, try on for me and see how that go. It's really hard now, especially being a designer, because you don't have a lot of manufacturers out here anymore. And a lot of the manufacturers, they'll steal your designs, they'll steal your ideas, they won't manufacture your clothes right. You got to really watch them. So I'm hoping in the future that I can do my own manufacturing, like a lot of the higher designers do. They have their own manufacturing companies where they're able to produce their clothes within in-house. And hopefully that's what I will eventually be able to do. But right now, I'm just trying to perfect my line.
Yeah. Well, plus size is coming to be more common, but I'll still see comments on social media saying, like, this is cute and all, like on a clothing brand. I say, this is cute and all, but I'd like to see this on a plus size model or for plus size people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'll go on like clothing sites and I'll see something that a plus size model has on. I'm like, oh, that is so cute. I wonder if they have it in my size, but they don't. But that makes me happy at the same time. But yeah, do you have any advice for those who want to go into this profession?
Um, I actually have a friend who, well, I'll tell you about her later. But if you're going to go into this profession, it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of you need to go to school. You need to go back to school. You need to learn. It's a lot of things you need to learn. I went back to school, took business classes so that I can, before I launch, I would know the ins and outs of businesses and why certain things don't sell and promoting your business. You really need to learn how to do that. It's more than just opening up a website and just saying, hey, I got me a website, and then you think your clothes are going to sell. No, you have to do a lot of promoting. You have to make sure that what you're selling is really good. Don't sell junk, because if you sell junk and if it's not made right, uh, because of the World Wide Web, you're going to get a lot of crap talked about your stuff. So what you want to do is, you want, especially starting out, what you want to do is make sure that you go back to school, learn how the ins and outs of businesses, learn the go online, look at the trends, look at the old trends, look at the new trends. You don't want to sell anything that someone else has already has an idea for. You want to be more innovative and new with your stuff. Also, it doesn't hurt to go back to school. I even went back to school. I knew how to sew, but I went back to school in 2017 and took a sewing class because I wanted to learn what I didn't wasn't that I wanted to learn. I wanted to see if there was something that they were doing that the teacher was going to show me some even better tips on how to do things. So don't be afraid to go back to school or take another sewing class, because you just might learn something. Sewing is always evolving, and you're learning different things. And just be open to taking advice from people, and opening up your mind to learn what new techniques, and not just be set on your own understanding of how things are, because you can always improve. Sewing is something that you can always improve on. Like I said earlier, one of the best things for me was to take that sketch class to learn how to sketch. Some people, they don't know how to sketch, like I did, and I went back as old as I was and learned how to sketch. I was the oldest one in the class, but I didn't care because I was there for a purpose. So don't be afraid to branch out to learn new things.
Right. Do you use all of the techniques that you learned in sewing class?
No, not really, because a lot of times you find shortcuts. But then again, you don't have shortcuts. A lot of, like, I'll tell you for example. And if a person had told is listening to this, they probably are going to laugh. But just the other day, I was creating a baby suit line, and I was doing the straps. Now, normally, back when I learned how to sew, I was taking a safety pin in order to turn my straps inside out to the right side, because the straps are so thin, and there's, I would always use a safety pin. But guess what? I went out and I decided, let me go buy a tube turner, because they always advertise these tube turners and they show you in class, oh, you can use a tube turner and it's that quick. Well, girl, I went out and bought that tube turner and I could not use it. I didn't know what I was doing. I actually went on YouTube. I was like, how do you use a tube turner? Something as simple as a tube turner. I did not know. And I went on YouTube, and then when I finally got it turned, I said, you know what? I'm sticking with my safety pin. I'm not using this tube. So it's some things that they have where you learn the new techniques, but sometimes your old one works better.
Yeah. Did you have any more slides you wanted to go through?
No, that was my last slide. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that I would be able to see the screen and I can show you, some of the stuff I'm working on, and you can see my studio, but I don't know what's going on with this computer.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Got a really good idea. I love that Clover costume.
Yes.
It's really cute.
Yeah, I was supposed to make 3, but she had went and bought all the fabric to do the 3 costumes. But the other 2 girls flaked on paying for the costume and for the fabric. So she said, but I still want mine. So I did hers, and she was a hit at the Halloween. She went to a Halloween party. The youngsters, they don't care about COVID. She went to a Halloween party with some friends, and they just fell in love with that costume. It was like a hit. I didn't know Clover's would be a hit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a hit. So.
Yeah. Earlier you were saying that you find inspiration from other clothes when you are designing a piece.
Yes.
Where do you find these? Is it online, like on Pinterest, or?
Yes, I'll go on Pinterest. I might type in evening gown, and I may say long evening gown or short evening gown, and I will look at some of the gowns and some of the ways that they're made, and some of the because you can take, like, I'll just give you for an example, like a regular sweatshirt, right? When you're designing, you can take a regular sweatshirt. You see how these people go out and they can turn a sweatshirt and they start cutting at it and twisting it and tying it, and they'll do all these different things to a sweatshirt because they want it to look a certain way. Like they might want the sweatshirt to be a halter or have their back out or whatever. So that's kind of like what I do. I go in and I look at it, because you can take something like a plain dress, like a plain straight chef, which is a plain straight dress, and you can turn that dress into anything just by looking at inspirations online. Like you might see one where, oh shoot, cut that sleeve off and make that sleeve sheer. Okay, you know what? Even though it's sheer, let's throw some crystals on that sleeve. Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. Oh, let's put a slit in that dress. Oh, okay. Let's put a crystal waistband on the dress. Oh, that one has a real pretty back. Oh, maybe I can put some cuts in the back of that dress and open it up, and make it look a little sexy. It's just certain things that you could just go online and you can get an inspiration. It's like you'll look at something and say, ooh, I like that. Ooh, let me see if I could do that. Just like the burgundy dress. That started off as a full dress. No back, no nothing. I had to go in, I cut it, I cut the whole top part out of it, and I took each side and I started beading, and I beaded it exactly to the side, each side. And then I sewed it back together, But I don't even know where I got that inspiration from, because it could have been from a dress that the whole back was beaded. And then I decided, well, I don't want the whole back beaded. I just want this part beaded. So you just get inspiration that you use that can make it your own. to make it your own design, your own look, everything.
Yeah. Take it and tweak it.
Exactly, exactly. And I learned also when I was going back to school and I took that sewing class, I went downtown to one of the um, sewing colleges. Otis, I went to Otis. They have like a little small branch downtown where they do they learn how to sketch and design, and they actually have a lot of designers. Otis is one of the top design schools, and they have a lot of your high-end designers that come in there, like Bob Mackie and your old school designers, and they come in there and they do a lot of hiring from those schools, and they only pick the top students. They if you get a designer that comes in, they'll pick the top students to work on their line, and they'll pay for their sketches. They'll, if they are real good sketchers, they'll pay for their sketches to be sketched, and then the students will go out and they'll create a whole line around their inspiration. They'll give them a picture and say, "This is my inspiration. Make me create me a clothing line." And they can give you something. You can get inspirations for something as small as a tree, like a tree, or it can be something floating around in the ocean, like a fish floating around in the ocean, and say, design something based on this fish and this ocean scenery behind this fish. And then the students would go out and they would pick out fabrics that would resemble the ocean, and then they'll start sketching these designs that would give the inspiration of fish. This fish swimming around. It could be a flowy dress. It could be a tight dress with a flowy bottom. You just never know where the inspiration comes from, and they'll create a line. Once that line is created, and they create this fashion show, then they usually choose about 4 to 5 students, and each one of them have be responsible for like 5 different outfits, and they would stitch them up and do their own creation, but they all work with the same fabric. And once they create this fashion show, the designer will sit back and they'll say, "Okay, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one." And they may pick like 3 outfits out of the whole show, and they'll go with it, and then it becomes one of their designs. I don't know if you guys knew that, but yeah, that's how a lot of these major designers do. You got people that they have this big fashion expo in Vegas called the King Expo, whereas you can go down there, you can get a booth, and you can show your designs, and you have a lot of designers and stylists that come through, and they pick out stuff for famous people, and they purchase it from you. So there's all kind of things that you can do in order to get in that industry to be famous. But right now, because everything is so shut down, you see a lot of people, resulting to YouTube, doing online stuff, But hopefully that will be ending soon.
Yeah, that's really cool. I used to think that major design brands there would just be one person that came up with their designs, but I know better now.
Oh, no. They have many different people that work on their designs. Everybody it's a heavy competition. That's why a lot of people have resulted into there are not even really a lot of designers online now. You see a lot of the designers online, they're just showing you techniques now online, because that's how they get their money through sponsors. So they'll show you their techniques on how they do stuff. And probably with that, they probably get clients. But other than that, like me, I can put a dress online and I can get a whole lot of hits. "Oh my God, that's so beautiful, that's so good." But it just might be something, I might make one thing, And somebody may call me up and they could be Beyonce's stylist. We work for such and such and we want that design. You know, you just never know. So that's why you see a lot of people. They're online. They're doing their craft. They're showing their craft because they're looking for that one hit. Because once your name is on one thing, then you're in it. You know, everybody's gonna want it. If Chris Brown wear your jacket, guess what? Everybody's gonna want that jacket Chris Brown was wearing. You get what I'm saying? Who was the designer? So of course, what's that gonna do? It's gonna bring them to your website. You know, so everyone is looking for that one, that one name to just go out there and put them on the market. You know, but my thing is, if you get on the market, you have to be ready for it. Are you ready to do that? You know.
As far as selling the product?
Yes, as far as producing, how are you going to produce what they want? If I go out and I make, if I put this beaded dress on my website, right? The website is all over the world. So guess what's going to happen? What if 20 people call me and want that dress? Can I give them that dress?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So you have to be real careful and very calculating on how you do things. I went on a cruise once and I met a girl and she actually made scarves. That she designed scarves. That's what she did. And she went online and she did one of a kind scarves. She knew that because she dipped and dabbled in inks and silk with dyeing silks, and that's what she did. And she would make these different scarves, but she would make one of a kind scarves. And she was from England, and she wanted to get more into creating fabrics, like silk fabrics with dyeing fabrics and stuff, and creating her own fabric line. And then from there, she wanted to go more into clothing and all that kind of stuff, but she wanted to start with that. Well, she ended up getting a really good big break because she ended up meeting someone who knew someone who was connected to the stylist that worked for the Rolling Stones. And on one of their album covers, all of them had her scarf on their neck. So that's when her business boomed. Everybody was going to her website and wanting these scarves. And I met her on a cruise and she told me that that's how her business, just making a scarf, how it boomed, is because of someone knowing somebody who told them about her scarf, and the Rolling Stones were wearing her scarves on the album cover, and of course her name is mentioned, on that cover because she provided the scarves and everything. So now everybody wanted a scarf.
Very cool.
But her problem was manufacturing because of computers and stuff. You don't have your manufacturing companies out here to help you produce your items. You're basically doing it yourself. So it's like, what do? When you got, like I say, 50 orders or something, and you can't even, can you get it out there? She was able to find a company out here in the United States, but they're like so far in between, because a lot of the manufacturing companies have shut down because we import a lot of our stuff, So.
Yeah. And I know how frustrating it is to want something and it's all sold out. So, yeah.
Exactly. And that's why you go online and you'll see they'll advertise something, and then when it gets to your size, it'll be not available.
Yeah.
They only have certain sizes available. And that's an on purpose thing. It's not because they ran out. It's just they never had it in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to do.
Have you heard of Ruth Carter? She was the costume designer for Black Panther, the movie.
Yeah, she's very, very good, very talented, but she's probably into one of a kind piecework. You know, she could do that. You have some people that's what they do. They just most designers like you got Balmain. Balmain, a lot of his pieces that you see celebrities wear are one of a kind pieces. They're not even sold because there's no way he can get that same design, in his beading, you know, on another outfit, doing it the exact same. So, so like if you see, I saw Janet Jackson. I think she posed for Oprah, one of her magazines, and on she had on this sweater. It was a Balmain sweater, but you're not going to find that sweater on Balmain's website. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. They'll have other pieces, but then he has one of a kind pieces. Because I think I had watched a program where someone went into his showroom in Hollywood, Beverly Hills, I think it was. And when they went in there, he didn't have a whole lot of stuff because most of his stuff is like one of a kind piecework. But he has his manufacturing line where he can make a lot of products from that. But most of his custom designs are the ones that are worn by celebrities.
Well, I actually want to reach out to her and see if she would like to be interviewed on here as well. That could be exciting.
Yeah.
See her piecework. So yeah, we've come to the end of this episode, but I would like to invite you for a part 2 so we can see your studio.
Oh yes, most definitely. You can see all this stuff. It's a mess. When you have a sewing studio, there's everything in here. I think I have like 4 printers. I have a heat press. I have a Cricut machine. I have 4 sewing machines. I have an embroidery machine, and I have a overlock machine. Aside from fabrics on fabrics on fabrics. Okay.
Awesome. Hopefully we will see that in part 2.
Yes.
So Afron Global would like to send you a certificate of appreciation for participating in this webinar. And
thank you.
I thank you myself. This has been very insightful, and I hope to become more familiar with it as my career goes on. So,
Yes, and I'll stay in contact with you, Alex.
Yes.
On my progress.
Yes. So, yes, thank you again so much for speaking. And thank you, viewers, for watching. And I will see you next time on the next Standing in the Gap webinar series.
Bye.